Chief Apostle into the body of Messiah. I'm so enamorated that today is a good day, as I call it. Today is a good day for us to be alive and to be kicking. There's a lot of things going on in the world, quite a few things that are going on in the spiritual world, not to mention the things that we are seeing in the natural world today. So we're just excited and we are overjoyed whether you're joining me on our YouTube platform, our Twitter platform, Periscope, or Facebook pages or Facebook period. We are welcoming you to Prophecy Talk, that where we just about talk about anything and we get everything out and we just basically lay it on the line. That's my whole purpose in being out here on the social media networks, to give people an alternative to talk about different things within a page. Okay. And we call it Prophecy Talk because of the simple fact that mostly everything that we're talking about is fulfillment of prophecy and the edification of a lot of different things. So I want to put that out there, point that out. I see some people hitting up on YouTube already. I see Prophet Sharon Kane, who's joining me on YouTube. Blessings to you, shalom, and to the many other people that's on the way that's coming to the platform. I want to start out by talking about social media and the dangers of social media and what we have come to understand is social media. On the Facebook platform, greetings and shalom to you, Katrina Bolton. Blessings to you on the Facebook platform. The dangers of social media are pretty obvious, people. There are a lot of people that are abusing the positive effects and use of social media. Um, Social media, of course, when we go back over the history of Facebook and mainly Facebook, and we see how Mark Zuckerberg and all them had started Facebook. It didn't necessarily start with a positive twist. So I'm going to say that right off the bat. Social media was not meant to be so great and positive, okay? But it has turned into a national phenomenon where people are using social media as a platform, uh, per se, to jumpstart ministries, businesses, different groups, and so on like that, which is nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely a great thing as long as we do it responsibly and positively. Okay. There's a lot of people, I like to call them idiots. We're on Prophecy Talk, so there's no telling what's going to come out of my mouth. So y'all don't be shocked. On the Facebook platform, we say greetings to Apostle Swanzetta Spencer Walker, or Walker Spencer, however you put it, and to my friend and someone who I trust dearly that fusses at me, Apostle Liberty Cheney. Those are some people I really think highly of. So I want to recognize them on the Facebook platform. And as you come up on the different platforms, I'll recognize who you are. That's part of some of the things that we want to do here on Prophecy Talk. Um, yeah, the positive effect of social media has been felt, unfortunately, in the past 4 years of the Donald Trump presidency. On where President Trump used social media quite often to relay a lot of his messages. Now we know the White House has correspondence and press secretaries and all that other stuff, but he himself chose to use the platform of social media to get a lot of messages out. Now, it didn't wind up to be a good thing. In the end, he paid the price for it tremendously, and I can't say that I'm all that sorry about it, but I just it's just a point that we have to make and that we have to really look, because there's got to be a positive side to our conversation on social media. I just recently ran into a circumstance, a situation where there was some very negative things said about me, some very negative things that were put out there about me. And on the normal circumstance, I probably would have been like, you know what, let's kick this bougie stuff, go on about your business. But it came from people that I don't know if you want to call them close, because really, when you think about it, who's close to you? Who are your friends? Who are your enemies? So, coming from people that think they know you, but it's not so much as the people, it's the words that they use and the negativity and how it affects other people and how other people respond to that negativity. And being that I am a leader in the body of Messiah, working as an archbishop and an apostle, these are things that we have to be throw caution to, as we say, caution to the wind. And we can't ignore certain things that are being said. Some things we can pretty much be like whatever, but then there are some things that affect us in such a negative way to the point where it draws the attention and draws the negative attention of negative people or people that are in curiosity, because when they don't hear from you indirectly, they automatically assume that they can, key into things or say certain things. So we got to be a lot more responsible when we come on social media. And a lot of people may not believe this. I'm getting ready to make, because I know Apostle Liberty Cheney is on my Facebook platform. I'm about to make some of y'all laugh, but this is a common sense thing I'm about to say. And when you're on these platforms, make sure your spelling is correct. Okay, spell check yourself, because one misspelled word or one misspelled acronym can cause an entire stir. It can cause people to be in a big uproar over nothing, and that's only because of the misunderstanding and miscomputation of misspelling words. So if there's words that you don't really know how to spell, and you're trying to get a phrase, or you're trying to make a statement phrase per se, you need to like spell check yourself, review what you put up before you actually put it up, because I'm telling you, it can really cause people to be in an uproar, because you may not have meant to say a certain thing a certain way, but then because you haven't spell checked yourself, or you haven't intelligently looked at something and looked over a post that was meant for a positive thing, but all of a sudden now it was taken as a slight at somebody, because I mean, everybody's not on social media to throw off on people. And that's why we got to be ever so careful with the plight of social media. We have to be very careful. And I wish some of my ecclesiastical brothers and sisters, some of the preachers and all the other giftings in the fivefold ministry, I wish we would be a lot more careful, because we could use social media as a very positive thing to get the gospel out, to project positive things into community and into the world, and a lot of other things. But it's stopped by the negativity of those. And the thing is that we have so many great examples before us to use for us not to do negative press in social media. Okay. I just don't understand why people take pot shots at people on social media. That's why you have what they call DM, the direct messages. If you have an issue with a person, you take it out directly with them. And that way, we all don't have to be involved in your little bitch campaign. Okay. I mean, everybody bitching. And so, I mean, it's just crazy how people just continue to go at each other, go at each other. And it's just unnecessary, because you don't have to do all that. You don't have to subject the rest of us to your poison campaign and your opinion of another individual. I myself am a professional person, so I don't care about individual plights. Okay. I really don't care about the individual plights because um, those things right there can cause even greater issues with people. And then you got the other part of folks, people's spirituality is not really a big deal to me because what you believe is what you believe. It really doesn't matter. You have the right to believe what you want to believe and how you want to believe it. So I would never play the bad cop when it comes down to a person's spirituality because they have the right to feel the way they feel. Okay. I just believe the Bible. I believe in all the forms of the Bible because there's more than the 66 books of the Bible. There's like a lot of other inserts that were taken out in the year 325 AD. There was a lot of inserts of the Bible that were taken out. So I believe in the whole Bible. Okay, I believe in the Bible that a lot of y'all probably never read. Okay, the Book of Enoch, the book, certain books I have questions about because I'm going to be honest with you. See, I don't jump from one conversation to the next conversation. Hope y'all didn't notice that because I noticed it. Um, certain books that we consider to be lost books of the Bible. Uh, if we're true scholars and true theologians and hermeneuticians, like some of us are, we know that some of those books need to stay hidden. Okay, because they really have no bearing to salvation and the edification of spiritual growth or prophecy or anything like that. Some of these books, in other words, we don't even know the validity or the what's the word I'm looking for? We don't even know the authenticity. I can't even say that. Where's Apostle Liberty Cheney when you need her? The authentic text of some of those books. Some of them books are not, we don't really know if they're authentic because when you read them, they read more like a fairy tale than they actually read as a scripture. Okay. They're very dangerous. So if you're a person that has not graduated in the spirit and have really gotten the total understanding again to prophecy, because in Revelation 19 and 10, the Bible tells us that the one that we call Jesus the Christ, or in the Hebrew we say Yahusha HaMashiach, and his testimony is the spirit of prophecy. So that means that a lot of people, if you don't have that spirit about you, then there's no real understanding. So I would not suggest that a lot of people read a lot of these different books unless they have a teacher or they have that understanding and someone that can expound into a lot of these things, because you can, if you're reading these books on your own, hear me when I say this, because there's a lot of people that do this. Okay, if you're reading these books on your own with your own understanding, you are totally going to get a misunderstanding as far as what is being said. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people say, oh my God, they didn't add this and they didn't add that. Well, you got to realize a lot of that stuff was not even readable at that time. I'm not even going to really get into all of that because you have to come to my classes if you want me to talk about that, because that's something I talk about exclusively on our classes. But yeah, a lot of that stuff was not readable. And what I mean by readable, it was hard to get to because the early church read a lot of the book of Enoch. They read it on a constant basis every time they came together, but it was eliminated by the apologetic crowd that decided that we were going to stick with the 66 books that were decided upon at the Council of Nicaea. The Nicene Council had a lot to do with the shaping of what people believe in church today. And this is the discussion that a lot of folks don't like to have, but it's a real discussion because there were things taken out. There were points that were distorted. Okay. Thus, in the 21st century today, you have battles between denominations and religions. Not so much as religions that it is denominations, because the Christian faith probably has the most battles within itself than anybody. I mean, you got so many different denominations. You got Methodist, you got Baptist, you got AME Zion, you got AME. Oh my goodness, Southern Baptist, Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses, which they call themselves the Kingdom Hall, the Kingdom Hall, and the Watchtower Society. It's so many different ones now that you'd be naming forever if you started naming them. But the central focus on each one that separates each one is the deity and the divine nature of Christ. That's what separates the each one. And so each one can argue to the validity of Christ where others don't really have a clue. Okay. And so that comes from study too. But that also goes back with what I said earlier when we're talking about social media. You got to be careful what you put up on social media because there is a misinformation campaign with Bible facts. A lot of people are putting what they call Bible facts up that are really not Bible facts. They're based upon rumors and things that they've heard in the past that probably don't hold any weight when you go and compare them to a lot of other things. So I'm just saying, you ain't got to be this wise, intelligent person that knows all about books, but just use common sense. I mean, really, just use common sense in the light of that, because some of us are really looking real foolish, and we think we're looking spiritual when we're not looking spiritual at all. We're looking very foolish by relaying certain things. Now, that brings another thing up, and that's the accountability of individuals that claim to be spiritual or what I want to say, or be Christians, because unfortunately, every religion has a standard of lifestyle. So, what is the standard of lifestyle for each belief? And because when we look at that and we go into the hindsight of that, there's a lot of people that's not living the standard. Okay, so it's unwise to criticize somebody in a belief system that you don't necessarily know anything about. For example, most Christians are very, very well. I'm talking about diehard Christians because there's so many different types of Christians. But the diehard Christian community is totally against the gay community. They're totally against anybody that practices anything outside of the normal man with a woman type lifestyle. Now, do I agree with that? Totally not. I don't agree with that. I don't believe in having those type of lifestyles. But, and I'm going to throw a big but out there, we are living in a society where this is a reality. And are we going to deal with it? Are we going to bash it? Are we going to kill the individuals? Or are we going to persuade them into our own confession? And that's always the big deal when it comes to an alternative lifestyle opposed to a person living a godly lifestyle, because the one that's godly is considered by the Bible to be more spiritual. So if you're more spiritual, it is our job to restore such a one and bring revelational truth back to them and not beat the hell out of them. We probably done ran more people away than we've accumulated people into our causes because of our own misunderstanding and our own biased opinion about who they should be opposed to who they are. You got to accept a person for who they are, first of all. And then once you do that, then you can talk about going to the extremes of the extra extremes of changing a person, because they have to want to change. You can't want to change for an individual. They have to want to change. And then if they don't feel like they change it, then we have to embrace them as they are, as long as it does not offend and get in our way. I just said a mouthful right there. I just said a whole mouthful right there that people probably are definitely not going to agree with me on. Okay. because they're like, oh my God, you're a preacher and you're talking like that. Exactly. I've learned to have compassion in areas with people that are not trying to be facetious or trying to be out of order. And y'all got to forgive me because I'm having little issues with my eyes here, and that's always going to be an issue considering that I've had so many operations. So y'all, those of you that know some prayer, y'all start praying now. Start praying now that I will make it through this conversation like this. But yeah, so we gotta get, look, let me put it like this. There's some of you that may want to have something to say. I'm gonna allow you to call me and I'm gonna put you on the air. Mm. I'm gonna put you on the air. I'm gonna allow you to call me. The number to call is 971-990-3504. Okay, 971-990-3504. I'm gonna let some of you call me and put you on my speaker. Hopefully you'll be able to be heard on here. I haven't tested it out yet, but we're going to test it as we go. This is a scientific project that we're going to be doing together. So that means that you guys can call in if you want to be heard on this issue and actually have a discussion. Okay? So I'm letting you guys come on and call in and see what's really going on. Okay? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah, so we've jumped all over the place. We've talked about social media. We even talked about the alternative lifestyles, and we're talking about the alternative lifestyles and the responsibility that we have to put positive things up, and again, I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with everything, and we're not supposed to agree with everything. Everyone has their own stance on certain things, but then there are some things that are just plain old-fashioned facts. Okay? Prophecy is the confirmation of facts. Some of the stuff that some of you guys put up on Facebook, I cannot find no facts behind that. None. And I want to say great, and I want to tag and say, oh, this is great, but I can't because really is no fact behind it. No one's done any homework or no study to even to even solidify what is being said. So with that being said, you guys must not want to talk, but you can you can type into the space bars. I'm looking on Facebook, and I'm getting the reactions of people on YouTube and on Periscope and Twitter on my chat, on my open chat right here on my live. So you guys can type in things. Facebook, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the Facebook page. So I want to see what you guys have to say about that. And then let me go back to the lost books of the Bible. I teach them without a shadow of a doubt. Anybody that has ever sat in my teachings knows that I teach on the book of Enoch. Okay. We got one person calling in. Hello.
Hello, this is Brother Emmanuel.
Hey, what's up, Emmanuel? Talk to me, man.
Yeah, I was just calling and saying, is it certain questions we supposed to ask?
No. That's the whole reason why it's called Prophecy Talk. Just talk about whatever.
Oh, well, I wanted to talk about the 66 books.
Okay. Good topic. Go ahead.
So I was wondering why they had 66 books. When I look at it, the number of man.
Right.
Why was it only? Is there purpose behind it? God's number is 7. I always there's always revelations and numbers if you're willing to have open eyes to see. So I was wondering,
so in other words, are you asking me, is there a significance to the number 66 to the Bible?
Yes.
Well, yeah. And I'm glad you asked me that, because a lot of people don't ask that question. The number 66 is significant because of the statutory number, which is the number of man, which is the number 6. So when the Council of Nicaea, or the Nicene Fellowship of 325 AD came together, it's really obvious that they came together with a man inscription, and with the thought of, hey, we're going to do this our way. So it just so happens that they decided on 66 because the number 66 was a number of strong fortress and strong tower at that time. Because you have to realize we're talking about people that were of the medieval time, close to the medieval time. So their show of strength was through numbers. So a lot of people don't realize that 66 was a dominant number that showed superiority amongst men. So that's the reason why they stopped at the number 66 with the Bible. And they did not include certain topics and subjects, because those topics and subjects contradicted the belief of the deity of Messiah. See, they've always battled in every generation about whether Christ is divine. Okay, we know that God the Father is divine, but the battle has been whether Christ is divine, because he came in human form. So a lot of people say, well, does this make that much difference? Well, yeah, it actually does, because he said he and the Father are one. So that means that Christ was divine. So with that being said, that was the argument, and that's where the validity of man came, and they stopped at 66 and didn't go any further. So that's one of the reasons why I was expressing, I don't know if you heard me when I was saying it earlier, we have to be really careful when we look for these lost books, because a lot of these books ain't so lost. Okay. And and the thing is that unless they have been spiritually injected, then really they have no significance. But there are certain ones that have a prophetic meaning, such as the book of Enoch, the book of Yasher. I can go on and on with the different ones that have prophetic meaning. But if they don't have a prophetic meaning, then they really don't have a lot to do with the conversation. But we've included it in the conversation because human minds just want to know. You know, we're just inquiring. We're like, I gotta know. That's forbidden. But sometimes you got to realize it's forbidden for a reason. You know, it just depends on where you're spiritually. You know. Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like everybody needs to know all of this stuff, because like with you, Brother Emmanuel, I know for a fact you are very, very spiritual, and you're very knowledgeable. You like to dig. So for a person like you, finding those books and finding the revelations of those books, that's okay. That's fine, because that just enhances what you already know. But for somebody that has never been introduced to those books before and has never been introduced to the revelation of those books, it can become very dangerous, because then their mind can stretch into an area of limbo where they start getting confused. Start getting confused, and they start looking and they're saying, oh, this is something good. But see, you need a teacher or someone. Well, I shouldn't say or someone. You need somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, point blank. Okay, because without that, you're going to be in trouble. Because look at the conversations that we've been having a lot lately in our world. They haven't been spiritual. Okay, you know, we've been talking about all kind of things that really don't have any significance to your spiritual growth. You feel me? So this is why Satan has gained ground on spiritual, because we're not edifying the body. We're tearing it down. And we're tearing it down by bringing negativity out instead of exercising and expressing our minds. Okay? I know there's a lot of people that probably listen to me right now that probably don't like what I'm saying. But the truth of the matter is we become stuck on stupid. I mean, really. Go ahead, Emmanuel. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take over like that.
No, man, I love it, man. You know, when it come to you, I take the back seat, because I remember a time when you said, "Give me 2 weeks with you." I thought you were just talking, and in 2 weeks, I blew up. You know, and I said, "Man, this man, he's never." When he said what you said. Yeah. Man, you did exactly what you said you was going to do.
Well, bless you. 2 weeks. Bless you, man.
and my growth since then, and I've been growing and getting hungrier and hungrier.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, a lot what I've learned about the Bible is it's like a maze, because man got his hand on it, and you got to know how to go to the maze.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the Christian people are so wounded. Because of the warfare, because that's why the Bible says don't add and take away.
Right.
I believe, certain books they took away, it was their purpose. But God showed me, but what God got, the revelation I got, He said, "With the Spirit of the Lord, there's liberty."
Yeah.
And that's what they underestimated.
Yeah. There's no doubt that there are certain books that were taken away to keep from to adding to the equation of what's going to happen. For example, in my opinion, you cannot teach eschatology without the understanding of how the book of Daniel relates to the book of Enoch, or how the book of Revelation relates to Yasher and his other books. So what they did was, and what the Nicaeans did, was they took wisdom, conventional wisdom, and tried to replace prophecy. Where we should have been talking about prophecy, we were talking about a Shakespearean thought or a Shakespearean theory. Okay? And we should know that a Shakespearean theory does not outweigh a prophecy. Contradictory to what a lot of people may think, it sounds good to say thou, thee, thus, and then. But at the end of the day, when you look at the definition of the Shakespearean conversation, opposed to the prophetic answer or confirmation, which I should say, it doesn't make sense. Because it doesn't make sense for the Most High to concern himself that don't concern himself. Hello, somebody. So that's the reason why you don't never see me going in the gossip columns and talking about the latest dirt on the preachers or the latest dirt on this one and that one, because all that stuff is irrelevant. These guys and women have to hold accountable for themselves. They have to deal with the master for themselves. It is not my job or anybody else's job to be an enforcer to what they do. Just like I was speaking earlier about the alternative lifestyle, or what people like to say, the homosexual lifestyle. Okay, it's a fact. We just got to deal with it. Does the Bible condone it? No, it doesn't. But it does not tell us to be the judge and jury. So what we have to do is deal with the people that are in an alternative lifestyle, find the good in them, and bear witness to them as to what we do. You hear what I'm saying? So we can't win them being negative. I'm just not down with that. If you want to keep on bashing folk because they got another sexuality that opposes yours, then maybe there's a problem with your sexuality. I didn't go there, did I?
Yeah, man, I mean that's real because you know one thing about love never fails.
That's right. That's right.
You know, if we handling it in love,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be bashing them.
That's right. And see, you have to understand that love really doesn't have a gender. Okay.
Exactly.
So so when you sit there and you're like, oh my God, they're in love with a woman, it's not impossible, people. It's really not impossible because we're talking about emotions, we're talking about feelings. People gravitate to people that connect with them. So I get it. Now, do I condone it? Do I do it? No, because I am strong enough to know that my plan and that my design was made for a woman, not for a man. But you can't really beat up on people that have been bruised and hurt in their life because they're bruised and hurt because of the abuse and the emotional trauma of people that know it all that really don't have compassion for feelings. You know? Yeah. So we gotta win these. We gotta win folks with love and kindness. You have to win people, not with beating the hell out of them.
and they act like, I mean, not they. We, let me say we act like sin is not sin.
Right.
Just because we stuck on that sin, but when we look in the mirror, we get to see our own dirt.
Yeah.
And we too focused on one thing. That's what I see. We focus on one thing. So once we learn how to but Jesus, every time Jesus heals someone, you always see the word compassion.
Right.
Where's
right.
Compassionate.
Right.
And that's what we lack, and that's why they're growing and we're falling.
I don't.
Because we're not walking in His light.
See, you just brought to light something that is so important that a lot of folks don't like to talk about this stuff, but it's kind of like an uncomfortable conversation. But it don't bother me. The problem with the Christ words, okay? Everybody made them bands and them whatever you want to call it. And the WWG. What would Jesus do? Okay. And my problem, I got many problems with it, but one of the problems I have with it is that do we really understand what He would do? Because His compassion stretched so far that it went to us. And think about yourself and how crazy you are, and He died for you. So if He looked out for you in your time of need, why can't we look out for somebody else in their time of need of utter confusion and misunderstanding instead of looking at them as a demon? Because everything is demonized. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, they are a demon. Oh, they got a spirit in them. Yeah, the spirit is I don't want to be bothered with you. You know? So we gotta, anyway. I ain't gonna mess with you because I'm gonna get my time so somebody else can call in because you and me can talk forever.
I know I enjoy you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you.
No problem, man. Keep on watching. We're gonna stay on for about another 15 minutes and then we're gonna move on. But man, I appreciate your call. I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
God bless.
All right, that's Brother Emmanuel right there. He's one of my former people that used to study with me. He still studies with me, on his own timing and so on like that. And I really appreciate him for calling in because he brought out a lot, into that subject or that subject matter. Let me look on YouTube. I saw some questions coming up on YouTube. It says here, what's the difference between a delay and no? Oh, what's the difference between a delay and no request? I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. What you request is what the difference is, because there is no delay on something that contradicts edification to the kingdom. If you're asking for something that's an edification, the delay is that when the prayer goes up, as we found out in Daniel, the 10th chapter, prayers go up immediately. It's the response to prayers that get hindered because the satanic world that is sitting in the second heaven intercepts the prayers and may cause the prayers to take its time to be to be manifested. For example, Daniel prayed a prayer that went straight to heaven, but it took 21 days for the prayer to come about. So as a result of that, here in the modern day church sense, a lot of people have mixed that and said, okay, we're going to have a 21-day prayer or a 21-day fast. That's in representation to the amount of time it took for the prayers of Daniel to be answered from heaven, from the third heaven to be exact. As in the second heaven, in the heavenlies, we have the satanic kingdom. So the satanic kingdom is trying to nullify all of the prayers and stop them from being manifest, because the satanic kingdom knows that if the prayers connect with the individual and their faith, there's going to be a mighty pulling down of strongholds. Uh-oh, did I say that? Yes. There's going to be a mighty pulling down of strongholds because now the prayer has connected to the individual, and with the individual is that person's faith. So their faith has made them whole. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying to you. This is a talk show. This ain't my preaching show. But yeah, their faith has made them whole because of the automatic connection to their request. So there is no the delay on a request is the fight from the satanic world to the earth realm. Now, some people pray amiss, and it's unfortunate, but it's just a fact that a lot of people are praying amiss. They're praying for things that really don't make that much sense and just don't have any validity when it comes to the kingdom of Yahuwah. When you're talking about the kingdom of Yahuwah, he's talking about edification, things that's going to build up his purpose and his plan. But there's a lot of people that cannot and will not. For example, tearing other people down and not building them up. That's not part of his plan. Okay? The prophetic, the gifts of the prophet and apostle both have the ability of tearing down, but they also have the ability and the gifting of building back up. If you're going to tear something down, then you got to build it back up. And if you don't come in with the intention of building something back up, then you are a terrorist. You're a spiritual terrorist. You've come in to destroy. You have sought after people and things to destroy them. And we got to do better when it comes down to that topic and subject. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody are spiritual terrorists, but what I'm saying is that there are some people that are specifically that they're spiritual terrorists, and they've come with slow words that will tear people apart. I mean, literally, you know. All right. Next, it says, okay, Isaiah 6, verse 1. I saw the Lord, who he sees. No man can see God, and Jesus hasn't come yet. Okay, yeah, just simply what he's talking about is knowing the ways of God. No man can see the ways of him, nor see the purposes of him. At no time has any man ever seen God. At no time. But we have seen his glory. We have seen his purpose and the will for our life. So by that being said, when Isaiah the prophet said that, he was speaking in the terms of the will and the purpose. And eventually, Mashiach, Christ, was coming to save the world from their sins. So the prophecies were given in encrypted form. But of course, the fulfillment of those prophecies came in the New Testament of the Brit Hadashah with the birth of Christ and the purpose of Christ. He came to win and save souls. You know, so we got to stay within that boundary of his purpose. His purpose is to win. His mission is to seek the lost. So are we seeking the lost? You know, that's the key right there. Are we seeking the lost? A lot of people are seeking fame. They're seeking attention. They're seeking self gratification. But are we seeking the lost? You know, there are a lot of people out there that are confused. They might be educated, but they're confused about what they're believing. And those of you that have been enlightened spiritually, we should be looking for those to give answers to them. I don't understand how you can be so spiritually inclined but run away from questions, you know, because people got questions. They got real questions. And my thing is, if you don't know the answers to the real questions, then you need to connect with somebody that knows some stuff, that knows somebody that knows somebody that can connect to everybody. Okay? Hello. But we're just not doing that because of the lack, um, the self gratification thing. And that goes into Isaiah 6 and verse number 1. Are we seeking the lost? Are we seeking those? Because if we're really seeking God, if we're really looking at God, and let me just say it very, very strongly, if we're looking at God and looking for God, then we see God in us because we are his created image. So what we're looking for is already in front of us, but it has not yet been tapped into or manifested because of the lack of wisdom, the lack of understanding. Okay, so we got to move out of the way. My sister, Pastor Avis, she just said pride. Exactly, pride has kept us away from the literal understanding of his purpose. So we're seeking souls. We're seeking to win souls. We're seeking to put them in perspective, but we can't do it without understanding. Okay. So Bishop Paul Burns. So we're basically trying to run the show in our own, not letting him to. Absolutely. We've taken divine purpose and we've turned it into our own intention. And anytime you take divine purpose and place it into your own opinion, it's never going to work because anything that man has come up with has always faltered. But a divine purpose will continue. It's a generational thing. Divine purposes continue on from generation to generation to generation. So we've got to use wisdom when it comes down to our missions because you got to first think and you got to get within yourself. This is why I suggest that people pray and fast before they go on a mission because you have to make sure that this is a mission of the Most High and not a personal vendetta of yourself. Hello, somebody. So, we got to get this thing together. We're messing up and we're messing up real bad because of our own personal invocations. Okay? A personal invocation does not constitute a divine mission. And some people have a divine, some people are truly on a personal invocation because they got a grudge with somebody or they can't stand anybody. Hello, somebody. And truth be told, I got folks that got problems with me every day. They got all kind of issues with me. They don't like the methods I do things. They don't like my abruptness. Some people are like, "Oh, he's mean. He's this. He's that." They say all kind of things. But it's just a matter. It's not a matter of me being mean or abrupt or anything like that. It's just that your mind is not on the level to match my intensity. Huh? Come on, somebody. And that goes true with a lot of you. Your intensity is on another, it's out the stratosphere. And some people can't handle that because they're not there yet. They're not spiritually inclined yet because their mind has not switched from emotional to spiritual. Okay? So you got a lot of people that are still real carnal and emotional. And when they become spiritual, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. This is good. This is good, man. This is really good. Brother Emmanuel opened up a can of worms for y'all. Okay. I'm just amazed at the lack of understanding on the spiritual mindset. I'm amazed at the lack of understanding on the spiritual mindset, because we have those on that level, then you have those on that level. So there's got to be a compassion to those on the lower level, because the Bible says those that are spiritual have to restore such a one. Blessings to I don't know who this is. It's on the first time. God's faithful on Periscope or Twitter, whichever one. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining us. Um, this thing that we call life can be summed up in one word, y'all. And I'm just going to be real with you. This thing that we call life can be summed up in one word, and that one word is destiny. It is your destiny to complete your mission, whatever that is. And I believe that if we approach things the way Christ approached them, there won't be a problem with the way we deal with them. We're dealing with things on an adverse way because we're dealing with things in the defensive mode. We should be on the offense, but we're in defense because we know we haven't done enough to gain or to even seek the righteous understanding. Okay? Leave everything else behind. So now we got to come into the divine nature of him. How do we come into the divine nature? We come into the divine nature through the word and the understanding and the opening of one's spirit to the words of prophecy. Hello, somebody. That's how we open it up. Because prophecy is confirmation of truth. Oh my goodness. Hello, somebody. So if ain't no truth in you, there's no confirmation in you. So that's why we got propheliers, false prophets. Yeah, y'all might jump on me for saying propheliers, but that's what they are, propheliers. You got false prophets that don't have any truth. So there is no confirmation in what they're saying. None whatsoever. Because there's not any truth in them whatsoever. My sister, my sister, Pastor Avis, said, that's right. We are wooed. And we have to woo as we will. Woo! I ain't messing with y'all. That's that Nature Boy thing. That's that Ric Flair thing. Woo, y'all. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we gotta understand these false prophets don't have anything divine in them. That's why you can't confirm what they say. They may amaze you with the nature of what they're saying. Like everybody was given prophecies of the presidential election. I didn't give one. Okay. I gave a fact, not a prophecy. There's a difference. See, a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between a word of wisdom, a word of understanding, and then there's a word of prophecy. I didn't prophesy. Okay. But I did give wisdom and I did give understanding. And I did give a prophecy many years before about now. See, a lot of times prophecy may take a prophecy has to go through a process in order for it to produce a power. So think twice about that when you prophesy or when you say that you want to prophesy. Think twice about that because there has to be a process with that prophecy. And if you're not willing to go through the process, then you might not be who you say you are, because he's giving you an internal patience with the circumstance and situation. Hallelujah. All right, I'm not going to stay on long with y'all. We wanted to get this out. If it's Prophecy Talk, if y'all like Prophecy Talk, go to the different platforms and message me. Let me know that you like what we're doing and that you're like what we're talking about. And we'll randomly talk about things that edify the kingdom. We're not a gossip column. We are not an entertainment module. We're not here to talk about the latest gossip on whoever, but we are here to talk about what's edifying to the kingdom of Yahuwah. And I believe that we can come together collectively and talk about these things and bring about change in our world that's going to be positive for the edification of the kingdom of Yahuwah to be raised in this hour and in this season. I'm Dr. Kiefer Ben Israel. I am so excited and happy to have you guys here. We're going to do this more often. But if you want to catch me on my teaching, then you want to go to YouTube and you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Chief Apostle Kiefer Ben Israel, and the letters DD, and it's going to alert you when I come on with my teachings, which normally are every night, most of the time, but we have various times and so on like that. So I'm not going to start talking about times that are not plausible. But once you subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you're able to get the alerts and you'll be able to come on, because on our teachings, we also use the Zoom application platform. So you'll have the opportunity to switch from there to the Zoom application to actually go live with us in real time. So that's always a plus, and I'm promoting that. If you want to donate to this ministry, because the gospel is free of charge, but the work itself, as you see, of technicalities and technical stuff is definitely not free. We need you to sow into this ministry. All you have to do is go to the Cash app, hit the $, type in Chief Apostle Kiefer. Kiefer is spelled Kepha. Or you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/ capital K, capital I, SREAL. We are not gimmicks whatsoever. So come on in, help us out, so, and help us out, and you will reap the benefits by getting all the information that you can give. I love every last one of y'all, all of you that have joined me on this prophecy talk. We're going to be back again, hopefully tomorrow, to talk again. I am Dr. Kiefer Ben Israel, Chief Apostle and Major Prophet unto the body of Messiah, Archbishop in our Lord's Church. We want to thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and y'all be blessed. Shalom.